Hello, everyone that's tuning in later. It is Tuesday, March 24th, and I'm live with a couple kids right now. We're going to talk about estimating sums. So if you wanted to follow along with some of the questions we do, this is the page that you should be on. This is in your homework or in your learning opportunities packet. It is lesson 5, and the page number was 91. So if you want to follow along with us, that's what you'll need. So let's see if I can switch my camera so you can see that worksheet up close. So here it is. This is way back from chapter 2 at the beginning of the year. And so in this lesson, we talked about estimating sums. So estimating has a lot to do with rounding. So you need to remember your rounding rules, which we'll go over in just a second. So we look at a question. Sometimes it'll be a word problem. Sometimes it will be one of these questions where they note to you which place value you're going to need to round to, and we're going to talk about that. But let's go over this example really quick since you have this at home. And so we're going to talk about which place value you need to round to and then how you're going to find your answer. So this question says, the parking lot in front of the school has 153 parking spaces. The parking lot behind the school has 138 spaces. About how many parking spaces are there in all? So if I were a super awesome third grader, I would know that this is a word problem, so I should be doing cubes. So on this question, I'm going to look for the numbers because the C in cubes stands for circle the numbers. So I see 153. Oh, my pen might be dead.
Turn it up.
Of course it is. Hold, please. All right, I'm going to circle 153 and 138. Then the U in cubes is underline the question. So I see that this sentence ends with a question mark. So this must be my question. And then the B in cubes stands for box the keywords. So if I were a super awesome third grader, I would know that in all is a keyword that I should put a box around, and I'm going to put a little plus sign next to that because I know that that means that I need to add. And then about is the keyword we talked about in this lesson. And when we see the word about, that means we need to estimate or round our numbers. So that's a super important one that you should be looking for. The E in cubes is eliminate the extra information. So anything that's extra that I have not circled, boxed, or underlined is the extra stuff. So we're going to scribble out some of that stuff. And there we go. So we have that here now. And so now I know that the numbers that I'm going to be adding, because in all tells me I'm going to add, is 153 and 138. And about tells me that I need to round. So I'm going to round or estimate 153 plus 138. One way I can do that is to round to the hundreds place. So depending on the question, I would choose which place value to round to. In this example, we are looking at both as an option. So for this one, if I'm rounding to the hundreds place, if I remember my rounding rules, I'm going to underline the digit in the hundreds place. I'm sorry, circle the digit in the hundreds place. And then draw my arrow to the number next door. If my number next door is greater, 5 or greater, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, that's going to tell me that I'm going to bump up this circled number. So this is a 5, which means I'm going to bump it up. 1 bumped up is a 2, so 153 rounds to 200. In the second addend, I have 138. I'm going to circle my 1, point to my 3. 3 is less than 5, which means that this number is going to stay the same. Anything less than 5, so 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0, as a bossy number is going to tell you to keep this number the same. So this one rounds to 100. So 200 plus 100 is 300. So this question rounded to the nearest 100 is 300 parking spaces. If I were to round to the tens place, which is usually the more precise or accurate way to round, you want to get as close to the actual answer as possible. That's how you're going to be using it more in the real world. So if I were going to do that, I would be circling my tens place, drawing my arrow to the bossy number next door. The same rules apply here. So if it's less than 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0, I am going to keep this number the same. This is 3, so it tells me to keep my 5 the same. So 153 rounds to 150. 138, their bossy number is an 8, which is greater than 5, which tells me I need to bump this one up. So 138 rounds to 140. 150 plus 140 is 290. So to the nearest 10, the parking lot has about 290 parking spaces. Okay, both of those estimates are reasonable. Both of them are close to what the exact answer would be. You are free to check my work and make sure that that is true. So that's one way that you can look at it. If they don't tell you, usually we say round to the greatest place value they both share, but more accurately, you could round to the tens place. So that's one way with a word problem. There's some other practice questions on your page that don't have word problems. They just give you the numbers and then they tell you to round indicated place value. So what that means is they give you a problem, 34 plus 65, and the indicated place value, that means the place value they tell you to round to, is written right here. So in question 1, it's the tens place. So for this question, I'm going to circle my tens place in both of those numbers, draw my bossy arrow next door, and then use my same rounding rules. So 4 tells me that I need to keep the 3 the same because 4 is less than 5. And then my bossy number always turns into a 0. And then 65, 5 is part of that bump up group. So 5 tells me to bump up to 6. My 6 turns into a 7, and my bossy number turns to 0. And I know that 7 plus 3 is 10, so 70 plus 30 is 100. So 34 plus 65, rounded to the tens place, is 100. Okay? So you guys can keep working on these questions at home. If you have any questions about any of that material, you are free to contact me on Zoom, Dojo, email, Google Classroom, and just don't be afraid to reach out if you have questions about anything. I am live to talk to Monday and Friday from 9 to noon. If we continue with the schedule that I put out last night, we are looking at more like 10 to noon for free questions because I'll be with third grade 9:30 and fourth grade from 9:30 to 10. So I look forward to hearing from you. I hope that this helped. I will see you soon.